Hey guys, it's Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense. We resume our discussion about our pulmonology lectures. In the previous video, we have talked about bronchial asthma. Today, I'll talk about allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, or ABPA. Before we get started, just remember that the aspergillus has septate hyphae and they branch at acute angles, usually 45 degrees, as you see here. Here and here and here and here. All of this stuff, 45-degree branching. And this is going to be a clue on your exam. Aspergillus, acute angle. So let's say the whole story. Okay, morning glory. Here is a patient with asthma. It's persistent, or could be a patient with cystic fibrosis. In case of asthma, the patient is taking his medication. All right, he's nice, he's paying his bills, he's eating his vegetables, he's taking his medicine. Bronchodilators. All right, but then he's not improving, and then he comes to you. You know, doctor, you suck. I'm sorry. I am taking your medicine. I have chronic cough. I still have mucus plugging, and sometimes I have brown sputum. Ooh, and this brown sputum has brown plugs. Okay. You do an X-ray of the chest. First time you find nothing. Then you do it again, and then you find infiltrates. And then later you repeat the X-ray, nothing. What is happening here? We call this transient infiltrates, because they come and go and come and go and come and go. And then if you do some lab work, you find eosinophilia. What do you mean by eosinophilia? I mean increased number of eosinophils. Eosinophils are white blood cells. What is the normal white blood cell count? Usually between 4,000 and 11,000. For the sake of the argument, let's say 5,000. The eosinophils constitute between 1 to 3% of the total leukocytic count, which is 5,000. For the sake of the argument, let's say 3%. 3% times 5,000, the upper limit of normal eosinophil count should be 150. In this patient, you will find it more than 1,000, let's say 1,500 eosinophils per microliter. Oh, that's horrible. This is a patient with allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Why does it happen? Because the immunity is exaggerating, it's hyper, it's over-responding. And this is the whole story of allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Anything from now on is a piece of cake. Just to be clear, this 5,000 we can call the normal white blood cell count. We can say 5,000 per microliter. 5 times 10 power 9 per liter. Mathematically, they are the same, but some people write it like this way, some people write it this way. I don't care. Allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, a hypersensitivity response. It's abnormal, it's exaggerated to what? To Aspergillus species. Please be specific. Aspergillus fumigatus. Not to be confused with Aspergillus flavus, because Aspergillus flavus is associated with hepatocellular carcinoma. Both of them are Aspergillus. But Aspergillus fumigatus can lead to allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis or another disease called an aspergilloma. This is the fumigatus. The flavus can lead to hepatocellular carcinoma, and we will talk about this later. There is IgE mediated. No wonder, because it happens in a patient who has chronic asthma, who is not responding to treatment. No wonder it's associated with IgE, because extrinsic asthma is associated with IgE. It's a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. But this ABPA is crazy. IgA mediated, this could be type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Cell mediated, this could be type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. Immune complex mediated, this is type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. This is theoretical, like flexing my academic muscle, but I'm just giving you an idea. It could be anything. It's weird. Happens in a patient with persistent asthma or cystic fibrosis not responding to the usual treatment. Allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis can lead to airway inflammation, mucus impaction, and bronchiectasis. And please connect the dots together. Bronchiectasis is associated with cystic fibrosis. See? We are integrating stuff. Immunity, which is hyper, which is exaggerated. plus a fungus, which is the Aspergillus fumigatus, equal a damaged lung with fibrosis and scarring. Some words of wisdom. Life does not ask you what you want, it presents us with options. Dr. Thomas Sowell. As an Egyptian guy who loves food, I will say to you, here is my advice. Son, life is not a buffet. Clinically, allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, patient with a history of persistent asthma, his dyspnea is not improving in spite of taking his bronchodilators, or they temporarily improve after oral corticosteroids. Then you have to stop the oral corticosteroids. They have lots of toxicities or side effects, and you cannot use them forever. So let's stop them. And the patient stops the drug, symptoms come back. You take the oral corticosteroids, symptoms are relieved. You stop them, symptoms come back. It's starting to look a lot like ABPA. Productive cough with sputum with brown plugs. Hemoptysis is possible. Pleuritic chest pain. Pleuritic means it's related to the lungs. And it's like this. The pain increases when the patient breathes in. It hurts. Then he breathes out. It hurts like slightly less. And then the patient pauses and not breathes. No pain. Then he breathes in. It hurts. This is pleuritic chest pain, which means it's related to the lung. Fever and malaise are common, or at the very least possible. Diagnosis, CBC, and serum. Use your common sense. There is a fungus here. Okay, there is a fungus among us, and it's called Aspergillosis. So eosinophilia, no kidding, it's an allergic reaction. IgA, yep, increase more than 1,000, as I've told you before. You can find Aspergillus precipitans. You can find Aspergillus IgG and IgE. Those are immunoglobulins or antibodies against Aspergillus because your body is trying to attack this horrible fungus. Sputum stain and culture for Aspergillus. Remember, those are branching septate hyphae that branch at acute angles, usually 45 degrees. Just roughly speaking, you don't have to bring your compass or your protractor to the test. It's not a math test. Get your head out of your sphincter. It's an anatomy joke. Aspergillus antigen skin prick test. Again, you inject the skin or the dermal area of this patient. Let's say this is his finger or his back or whatever with the Aspergillus antigen. If his body reacted or overreacted to the Aspergillus, it means that this body is allergic or is sensitive or is trying to react against this Aspergillus. Chest x-ray in patients with allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis will reveal transient infiltrate. They come and go and come and go and come and go. Tram track markings. Cavitations in the upper lobe, same as secondary tuberculosis. Atelectasis due to mucoid impaction. And when you see the word mucoid on the exam, think of two main things. Number one, Klebsiella. That's a lung problem, usually a pneumonia, in an elderly patient who is alcoholic and lives in a senior home. Or it could be this allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis in a patient with chronic asthma, not treated by bronchodilators. His symptoms persist. He has eosinophilia, increased IgE, transient infiltrate on chest x-ray, and he thinks his doctor is a stupid. High resolution CT scan, we use this for bronchiectasis because it's just very high resolution, very detailed picture. And everything alive has pros and cons. The cons are too much radiation, baby. Bronchiectasis plus mucus plugging will lead to central infiltrate. We call this finger in glove sign. Use your search engine to see a picture of finger in glove sign. You can find this finger in glove sign in chest x-ray as well. Treatment. Corticosteroids. Why give steroids if the reason is a fungus? Because corticosteroids are immunosuppressants. Remember, what is the cause of this freaking disease? And the answer is, it's an exaggerated immune response to the Aspergillus fumigatus. Antifungal medications. Active allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis is treated with two drugs together, itraconazole and oral steroids. There is some evidence that when you combine those two drugs together, they decrease the time needed for the patient to take steroids, which is good because we need to get the patient off those steroids because they have lots of side effects. When you add an antifungal to them, you will stop the steroids earlier. If itraconazole is not in the answers, you can choose voriconazole or acetaminophen. Please add oral steroids to them because they are immunosuppressants. Why are steroids immunosuppressants? Because they inhibit interleukins, especially interleukin-1 beta and interleukin-2. Why are they anti-inflammatory? Because they inhibit the phospholipase A2, which converts the membrane phospholipid into arachidonic acid, which is then going to give us cyclooxygenase, will give us prostaglandin, and via the lipooxygenase is going to give us the leukotrienes. All of these are inflammatory mediators. When you nip it in the bud and kick it in the butt early on, there is no pro-inflammatory mediators. Steroids are the best and the most dangerous and the most magical drugs known to mankind. Now to the most significant part of this lecture, clinical pearls. Aspergillus spores are present in the soil. They are commonly found in sputum of healthy individuals, like you and me. We have it, but we do not have the exaggerated immune response against the fungus. HIV patients with a CD40 count of less than 100 per cubic millimeter are prone to Aspergillus infection. And when it comes to patients with HIV, it's usually invasive, it's usually systemic, it can lead to allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis or an aspergilloma or an invasive systemic Aspergillus infection. Patients with neutropenia are more liable to systemic candidiasis or aspergillus. History of asthma or a cystic fibrosis that's not responding to treatment with chronic cough, mucus plugging, eosinophilia, recurrent transient lung infiltrates. This is allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. They might even describe this mucus plugs as brown in color. Only lung eosinophilia and peripheral eosinophilia, without all of the other stuff, without the history of asthma or cystic fibrosis, without the chronic cough, mucus plugging, no, there is eosinophilia this time, without the brown sputum. This is another disease called chronic eosinophilic pneumonia. So, asthma, cystic fibrosis not responding to treatment, chronic cough, mucus plugging, eosinophilia, recurrent transient lung infiltrates. This is allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. If you only see lung eosinophilia plus peripheral eosinophilia, this is chronic eosinophilic pneumonia. You might see some cough and some mucus with it, of course. Adding itraconazole to oral steroids will decrease the duration of steroid use, which is good. Aflatoxins contain aspergillus, which are stored in nuts, grains, and soybean, especially when they are stored in hot, humid climate. One of the most famous countries for having this is Sudan, which is south of Egypt, which I came from Egypt, so I know this. This will lead to mutation of arginine to serine at codon, whatever. This will lead to increase your risk of hepatocellular carcinoma. So for people who think that drinking soy milk and eating whole grain is gonna solve all of your problems, please think again. With any diet you choose, I'm not mad at you, but please understand there are pros and cons to everything. Because life does not ask what we want, it presents us with options. There are no solutions in life, only trade-offs, and trade-offs depend on values which differ from one human being to another, said the same great economist, Dr. Thomas Sowell. Next, an asthma patient who is not responding to treatment might have one of two conditions. Number one, allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. Number two, eosinophilic granulomatosis with polyangiitis, which is also known as Churg-Strauss syndrome, which is positive for P-ANCA. What is P-ANCA and C-ANCA? I have made a video about this in my rheumatology playlist. In chronic granulomatous disease, or CGD, your phagocytes are capable of utilizing H2O2, which is hydrogen peroxide, to generate free radicals, which are reactive oxygen species, to damage the organisms. Except some organisms are very strong. They are capable, thanks to catalase, to destroy this H2O2's ability to become free radicals. These organisms include staph and Aspergillus. So, a patient with chronic granulomatous disease is vulnerable to get Aspergillus infection, including allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis and even invasive aspergillosis. In brief, here is the summary of this video. Persistent asthma with fleeting or transient infiltrate equals allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. It can't be simpler than that. Aspergillus can manifest as pulmonary disease either as allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis or an aspergilloma. Steroids are immunosuppressant. They can help with allergic bronchopulmonary or with another disease called hypersensitivity pneumonitis or pneumonitis, which is a great name for a boy or a girl. This is immune related. Steroids are immunosuppressants. They fit together. I'm sorry about this stupid grammatical mistake. A patient has a persistent asthma. Symptoms not improving despite treatment. Get a skin Aspergillus antigen test because we suspect allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. If the test is positive, he has allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. If the test is negative, he has persistent asthma. Try omalizumab. And if you remember, we use omalizumab in the last 2 steps in asthma management. What is asthma management? Watch my previous video. And this is just like the cornerstone of this video. It's just important. Causes of upper lobe cavitation in your lungs. Here is your beautiful lung. What causes cavitation in the upper lobe? By the way, the upper lobe is superior to the clavicle. It's above the clavicle. If you want to auscultate the chest, don't just auscultate here. You should auscultate at the apex of the lung, which is above the patient's clavicle, if you want to listen to these guys. Secondary tuberculosis, not the primary. Histoplasmosis, absolutely, that's a systemic fungus. Klebsiella in an elderly, alcoholic, or a patient who lives in senior home who has a pneumonia. Allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, yes indeed. Aspergilloma, so both of these are caused by the Aspergillus. Which one? The flavus? No, the flavus is in the grains and the soybean and the hepatocellular carcinoma. This is Aspergillus fumigatus. These aspergillomas, oma means mass, they arise in lung cavities previously occupied by TB or histoplasmosis. So first the TB, the secondary TB, does the heavy lifting and form a cavity within your lung. Then this nasty Aspergillus fumigatus comes and invades the cavity which was already invaded by the secondary TB. Also squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous is cavitation. And squamous, also with a C or a K sound, it's calcium, baby. So hypercalcemia. Why? Because squamous cell carcinoma secretes parathyroid hormone-related peptide. So everything here is a C or a K sound. Squamous cell carcinoma, cavitation, releases calcium. After all of this, if you get the question on your exam wrong, blame yourself, man. Some inspiration. I know that studying medicine is hard and horrible. I try to make it as fun as I can, but indeed it's hard. Okay, there's no question about that. So here's something that the great Zig Ziglar said before. Okay, he said, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. This is profound. Okay, so here is your thing. If you want to succeed in life, you have to have goals. If you keep wandering around, you're not gonna arrive at anything. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. You have a goal. I don't care what goal is it, just pick a goal and stick to it. I want to pass the exam, this is your goal. How are you going to achieve it? You should have a plan, and you should be persistent with this plan. No matter how many friends, your broke friends, your miserable friends, because misery loves company, they will make fun of you. Just count on it. They will make fun of you. And you know what you should do? You smile and nod and don't care. And as Zen proverb said, obstacles do not block the path. They are the path. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm honored that a poor guy like me can have followers from all over the world. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and join the tribe. Hit the bell to get notified and smash like. Follow me on Facebook. I have more than 100 cases there. You can get my premium videos, my post notes, my cases, my PDFs, and the notes of this video and every other videos organized in Dropbox folders that you can download and keep for you forever. Thank you so much for watching. As always, be safe, stay happy, and study hard. This is Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense.